So I have glutinous rice flour. I forgot why I purchased it, but I have. Oh, because I was gonna make I was gonna make some Thai desserts, and then found out that that takes like days for multiple people. Anyway, so I was trying to figure out something to use, and I've like mixed it into the pajon the other day, and then the fates would have it that this recipe came across something that I was looking at for a mochi. It's called a butter mochi cake. I think it's Japanese. There's like this is the Hawaiian version. It's got um, what's called sweet rice flour, which I figured out is actually the same as glutinous rice flour. It's a sweet grain rice that is then pounded. Um, anyway, that right now what we're looking at is the rice flour, sugar of equal parts, and baking powder. I'm about to add to that. This looks gross, but is just coconut milk with the solids included in there. I have this recipe because A, I have not done it before, and because I have used some of this rice flour, so otherwise it would be the whole bag, and so that way it's allowing me kind of two things. So that is basically like 6.5 ounces of coconut milk. This is a cup of actual milk, and crap, I gotta figure out the math on this. I think I need 6 tablespoons of butter. Let me do that. Let's let's make this a learning lesson. When I have to do less than an actual whole stick of butter at room temperature, I should cut it ahead of time while it's still solid, both because it's more exact and because it makes more sense. Okay, so I just added the butter. I'm about to add the vanilla as well, and then we're gonna mix it up and see what this looks like. Okay, so added the eggs and everything else. So now we're about to mix it. At first I was worried. I was like, oh, I would normally mix all the dry ingredients first, but the gluten isn't the problem here, which is normally why you wouldn't do it with regular flour and regular cake. I'm gonna finish mixing this, and then I'll show you what it looks like once I pour it into the pan. Since I'm halving it, it was normally be a 9 by 13. I'm putting it into an 8 by 8, and it's supposed to be in the oven for about 50 minutes to an hour. So I'll do 50 minutes and see what it looks like. It might be hard to tell because my understanding is it's kind of moist and dense and chewy, so we're gonna have to play it by ear a little bit. Oops, I forgot to show you what it looks like, but it's already in the oven. What I should have done, I actually did read this entire recipe ahead of time, which is so unlike me. However, what I didn't do is read the comments, and I wish I had because, well, one, it didn't tell me. It keeps calling it batter. This did not seem like a batter at all. It's very liquidy, so I'm curious to see if I did something wrong. The other thing is, somebody recommended that you cream the butter, which I thought was weird too, that you cream the butter with the sugar before incorporating the rest of the ingredients so that it better incorporates, because as it is, you get little chunks of butter that like float to the surface. So I incorporated as much as I could. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, even if the texture is a little off, it'll taste good. So in about an hour, I will let you know. Actually, it'll be longer than that because they say definitely don't cut it until it's cool. So I have pulled this out of the oven. It is super gelatinous in the middle. But it kind of reminds me, it kind of reminds me of Yorkshire pudding. It isn't pudding at all. The directions say definitely don't cut it until it is completely cold or it will run. So I'm guessing this is normal. So it's probably gonna be a couple hours before this cools off. But since I didn't show you it going in, I'm showing you coming out. I kept it in about 65 minutes. I can hear the butter. I'm curious to taste it. I'm kind of excited. I hope it cools down quickly. I know it's going to be a minute, and today's kind of warm, so we'll see. I might go dangle my feet back in the pool. Anyway, hopefully this is delightful. We'll find out. We're going to pretend that it's still fully intact and that I did not, in fact, cut it and start eating it and share it with my neighbors. So this is the finished product. Let me cut a piece, which I shouldn't eat yet another piece. It is very much, it reminds me texturally of the inside if you've ever had a Portuguese egg tart. You can get them at dim sum. So my mom would hate this with a deep and fiery passion because it's not like a solid, it's very mochi-esque. Very moist. It's got so much butter. There's so much butter, but it's good. I want to play a little more. This recipe didn't call for salt at all, which is weird to me. I added like a little sprinkle. I'm going to up the salt for the balance. Because to me, I'm glad I added a little bit I did, but it needs a bigger pinch of salt. I didn't want to, because I haven't played around with glutinous flour, I didn't know if, you know, that has salt or something in it, but yeah, it definitely needs a pinch of that, but it's good. The ends especially are crunchy, and I'm wondering, because some of the ones I saw photos, it's like crunchy all across the top, or chewy is more, it's like a crunchy chewy. And I'm wondering if I incorporate the sugar with the butter and then incorporate everything else after that, it'll mix better and then you get that crispy top. So next time I'll try that and see. At any rate, this is truly delightful. I hope you're having something delightful too.